Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Something important happened in the Middle East. Iran fired missiles at a big military base. The base is called Al Udeid Air Base. It is in the country of Qatar. Many soldiers from the United States work there. This happened on a Monday. Iran said this was a response. They were angry because the United States attacked Iran a few days before. The United States attacked places in Iran where the country does work on nuclear things. Al Udeid Base is very big. It is the largest base for the United States in that area. About 10,000 military people are at the base. Many missiles were fired at it. But some good news came quickly. People from Qatar said their air defenses worked well. They said they stopped all the missiles before they hit the ground hard. Leaders from the United States also said that no American soldiers were hurt, and nobody from Qatar was hurt either. There was not much damage to the base. President Donald Trump is the leader of the United States. He talked about the missile attack from Iran. He said it was not a strong attack. He said it was very weak. He said it did not hurt any Americans. He said it did not cause much damage. This event is important. It shows that things between Iran and the United States are difficult. Other countries in the world are watching this situation. It makes the area more dangerous. It is the start of a tense time. 2. Missiles in the sky. Iran sent many big missiles towards Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. This base is near the city of Doha and is very large. It hosts a big number of U.S. military people, around 10,000. Reports said Iran gave a warning to Qatar before the attack. This was done to help keep people safe and prevent many injuries. This action was similar to Iran's method in the year 2000. At that time, they also warned Iraq before an attack after a U.S. action. The militaries of the United States and Qatar worked closely together. They used special air defense systems. These systems are designed to find and stop missiles in the sky before they hit the ground. Their goal was to shoot down the incoming missiles. Their joint effort stopped most of the missiles. Iran launched 14 ballistic missiles. The U.S. and Qatari defense systems successfully shot down 13 of these missiles. Only one missile did not get stopped, but it flew past Qatar harmlessly. It did not hit the base or any other area, causing damage. Qatar's government officially confirmed the successful defense. The Ministry of Defense for Qatar stated that all incoming missiles were intercepted. They also clearly reported that no one was injured on the ground during the attack. This meant military and civilian people were safe. For a short time, the U.S. Embassy in Doha issued a warning. It told Americans in Qatar to find a safe place to stay. However, this alert was brief. Later the same evening, the embassy removed the warning, saying the immediate danger was over. The successful interception of the missiles was very important. It protected the large number of military personnel and civilians at or near the base. The cooperation between U.S. and Qatari forces in using air defenses showed strong teamwork. Stopping the missiles in the air prevented potential damage and loss of life on the ground. This moment was tense, but the defense worked as planned. It highlighted the readiness and capability of the air defense systems used. 3. Iran's answer. Iran gave its attack a special name. They called it "Good Omen of Victory." Iran said its missiles hit the Al Udeid base very hard. They claimed to destroy the base completely. Iran also said they fired the same number of missiles as the United States used to attack Iran's sites, 14. But people who looked at the base later did not see much damage. Other countries also counted different numbers of missiles. For example, Israel said Iran fired only 6 missiles. In Iran, the news on television and the Internet celebrated the attack. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, wrote a message on social media. He showed a picture of an American flag burning. He wrote that Iran would not give up and would protect its rights. In the United States, President Donald Trump spoke about the attack. He said the missile strike was not strong. He called it very weak. President Trump wrote on social media that the attack was not a surprise. He said American forces stopped the missiles very well. President Trump also thanked Iran. He wrote that Iran gave a warning before the attack. This warning helped make sure that no Americans were hurt. He said, "Congratulations, world, it's time for peace," right after the attack. Vice President J.D. Vance also spoke about the end of the fighting. He said the United States had done what it wanted to do. Vice President Vance said the attacks by the United States had finished Iran's nuclear program. He said this could bring a time of peace if Iran made smart choices now. 4. Fighting before. The fighting started before Iran sent missiles to the base in Qatar. It was part of a bigger conflict that was already happening. This conflict lasted for 12 days before the attack on the base in Qatar. Israel started this period of fighting. On June 13, Israel used its air force. Israeli planes attacked important places in Iran. These were places where Iran worked on nuclear technology. This attack by Israel was called Rising Lion. Israel said its planes hit many of these sites. They said they hit dozens of different places across Iran. Israel also said that during this attack they killed an important military leader from Iran. This leader was from Iran's military force, the IRGC. His name was Hossein Salami. Israel also said they killed some scientists who were important for Iran's nuclear work. Israel stated that this attack significantly made Iran's plans to get nuclear weapons much slower. Iran became very angry after Israel's attack. Iran said it would fight back strongly and get revenge. For the next week, Iran and Israel exchanged attacks. They sent different types of missiles and drones at each other. These weapons flew long distances over the region. Drones are aircraft without a pilot inside. Groups in other countries who are friends and partners with Iran also joined the fighting. These groups are in places like Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen. They are sometimes called proxies. They also sent rockets and missiles. They attacked military bases and cities in Israel, and also military forces of the United States in the area. Soldiers on both sides were hurt, and some died because of these attacks. People who are not soldiers, called civilians, also suffered. Rockets and drones hit cities and towns in both Iran and Israel. This caused damage to buildings, and sometimes electricity stopped working for people in their homes. The fighting was serious and dangerous for everyone living in the region. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, spoke about the situation. He said that Iran's decision to stop fighting back depended completely on Israel's actions. He stated that if Israel stopped its attacks first, Iran would not continue its revenge actions after that point. He also publicly thanked Iran's military for fighting hard until the very last moment. Inside Iran, people showed strong national feelings and support for their country. There were public gatherings and events to show they were united and supported the government and the army. In the country of Iraq, groups of people marched in cities. They carried pictures of Iranian leaders and showed they stood together with Iran during this difficult time. This showed how the fighting made people in different countries felt strongly about the conflict. The missile attack on the airbase in Qatar was the next step in this tense and dangerous situation, happening after these 12 days of conflict between Israel and Iran and their allies. 5. America's attack. After Iran's attack on the base in Qatar, the United States prepared a strong response. This military action was called Operation Midnight Hammer. It was a large and important operation. The United States military used its powerful B-2 stealth bombers. These special airplanes can fly long distances and are hard for radar to find. They flew thousands of miles to reach Iran. Their main targets were 3 key nuclear sites. These facilities were located at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The B-2 bombers were loaded with very heavy and powerful bombs. These were the MOP bunker buster bombs. 14 of these bombs were used in the attacks. Each bomb weighs 30,000 pounds. They are made to break through thick, strong buildings, even those built underground. The operation involved many other military aircraft. More than 1,000 support aircraft flew as part of Midnight Hammer. A United States Navy submarine also participated by firing cruise missiles at targets in Iran. Military officials in the United States said that Operation Midnight Hammer was planned with great detail and care. They said the planning was meticulous. A key goal was to make the attack a complete surprise to Iran. They did not want Iran to have time to prepare or protect the sites. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth later talked about the outcome of the strikes. He told Congress that the attacks had caused very serious damage. He stated that the targeted nuclear facilities in Iran were devastated and obliterated. President Donald Trump also spoke publicly about the operation. He announced that monumental damage was done to all nuclear sites in Iran. President Trump used satellite pictures to show the results of the bombing to the public. These images clearly showed destruction, including large craters at the nuclear sites where the bombs had exploded. The United States military claimed the operation was a success, emphasizing the careful planning for surprise. Secretary Hegseth's strong words described the level of destruction. President Trump's sharing of satellite imagery aimed to prove the impact of the strikes. The United States stated that the purpose of these attacks was to severely damage Iran's nuclear program and prevent it from developing nuclear weapons. 6. The real damage. The U.S. strikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran were a big event. But it was hard to know exactly how much damage they caused. President Donald Trump said the damage was huge, but getting the full story was difficult. The IAEA, the world's nuclear watchdog, sent its inspectors to Iran after the bombing. They looked at the sites, like Fordo and Natanz. The IAEA reported that there was damage to buildings. This showed the power of the U.S. bombs. However, the IAEA also reported good news for safety. They said there were no dangerous releases of radioactivity. Importantly, the IAEA found that Iran still had its stores of nuclear material. This included highly enriched uranium. Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, confirmed that inspectors had seen this material at the Isfahan site only days before the U.S. strike. This suggested that Iran might have moved some important nuclear material before the U.S. attack. Experts who study nuclear programs looked at the information. They felt that the U.S. strikes likely set back Iran's progress, maybe by several months, but many did not believe the program was completely stopped. Kelsey Davenport, an expert, said it was unclear where all the important uranium, or machines, centrifuges, were now. She felt the strikes did not completely solve the problem. The U.S. military, the Pentagon, said they were still working to understand the full effects of the strikes. They were still assessing the damage. This process takes time. President Trump and his government said the strikes were a success. They said the strikes showed that the U.S. would not let Iran get nuclear weapons. They said the attacks were meant to stop Iran's nuclear program and act as a warning. They said the goal was not to change Iran's government. But some people in the U.S. were not happy. Some lawmakers in Congress had serious questions. They worried if President Trump had the legal power to order attacks like this. Some felt it was like starting a war without Congress voting. They raised concerns. But other lawmakers supported the president. They said it was necessary action. So, understanding the real damage was complex. There was physical damage, but Iran still had key materials. Experts and officials had different ideas about what the strikes really achieved. The long-term effect on Iran's nuclear program and whether the strikes made the region safer was still being debated. The truth about the damage was not simple. 7. The world reacts. After Iran fired missiles and America attacked nuclear sites, the world looked closely. In the United States, security people were very alert. They warned about possible danger. This danger could come from people who support Iran. They thought about possible attacks on computers or other bad actions inside the country. The government said it was watching carefully. Some people in America did not want more fighting. They went to public places for small protests. They asked for peace. Countries close by also spoke. Qatar was not happy about Iran's attack on the base. Qatar's government said Iran's action was wrong. It broke the rules for countries and airspace. Qatar said it could answer back if needed. Other countries in Asia asked everyone to be calm. Pakistan and Indonesia said the fighting should stop. They did not want the problem to grow bigger. Israel said it was happy about America hitting Iran's nuclear places. Israel also warned Iran not to fight more. Israel said it was ready if Iran attacked again. China and Russia did not say much in public right away. But people thought they quietly told the countries involved to be careful and not fight more. These two countries often do not like it when America acts alone in the Middle East. Countries in Europe wanted the countries to talk. They asked everyone to use talking, not bombs. The leader of the United Nations also asked for the fighting to stop right away. He had warned before that a big war in the region would be very bad. Back in America, people who work for the government and others who study these things had different ideas. Some people who support President Trump said the actions were good. They said America showed it was strong. They believed the attacks helped stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. But other people were not sure. Some said the attacks were not right and could cause more problems. They asked if President Trump had the right to start these attacks without asking the U.S. lawmakers first. So, the world reacted in many ways to the fighting. Some countries were angry, some asked for peace, and people had different ideas about if the actions were right or wrong. 8. Looking ahead. The history between the United States and Iran goes back many years. It changed a lot after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. Later, there was a long war between Iran and Iraq. In 2015, a deal was made about Iran's nuclear power. But President Donald Trump stopped the U.S. from being part of it in 2018. This made things more difficult. We saw this before in 2020. After the U.S. killed an important general, Iran fired missiles, but seemed careful to avoid hitting people. This recent event looked a little like that. Now, the situation is tense in the Middle East. The U.S. military is staying at a high level of readiness. Ships and missile defense systems are ready to help protect friendly nations in the Gulf. People who work in governments are working hard to make a ceasefire strong. U.S. officials, like the Secretary of State, are talking with leaders in the region to help keep the peace. President Trump has also said there is time to try for talks. Inside Iran and other places, some people want more conflict, while others want to stop the fighting. In America, people have different ideas about what should happen next. Many Americans do not want a big war, but they also strongly believe Iran should not get nuclear weapons. In the government, there are discussions. Some lawmakers question if the president had the right to bomb Iran without more approval from Congress. They are talking about the president's power in times of conflict. Looking ahead, it is not clear if the peace will last. The leader of Iran has said his country will not give up. Groups that Iran supports in countries nearby might attack U.S. or Israeli targets. Israel has also warned that if it is attacked again, it will hit back harder. The calm right now feels very fragile. Soldiers are watching and ready. Leaders must think carefully about the future. Will they choose safety or risk fighting again? What do you think the coming months will bring for this region?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.